Hey guys, what's up? It's CalebBake01 back again for a track list ranking. For today's episode, we have the band Blink-182 and their self-titled album from 2003. This was such a cool one to get for my track list ranking and random album review. If you haven't checked that out yet, I'll link it below in the description. But that's basically where I sum up my entire thoughts on the album and give it a rating out of 10. So if you want to check that out, definitely I would recommend it. But for those who need a refresher on this series or just, don't know how it works, this is where I have all the songs on the album and rank them from my least favorite to favorite. So this was such a cool one for today's episode. I was so excited to get into this one because for a long time I feel like this was Blink's most underrated or overlooked album, and I think a lot of people remember it for being experimental and ambitious. So there's a lot of cool songs in here, and this is one, revisiting this time, I especially found a new respect for it. I've always liked this album, but this time around just hit on a new level, and I'd say it's one of my favourite Blink albums. I'm not going to quite say it is my favourite because there's also Take Off Your Pants and Jacket. It's neck and neck between those two, but really excited to get into this one today. One thing that I'm going to do for today's episode, which I don't normally do, is I'm actually going to disinclude a couple of songs. The two songs I'm going to not include is the Fallen Interlude, because it is an interlude. I just don't think there's any point putting it in this ranking because it's going to be right at the back. I don't know any interlude that's better than any song. And I'm also going to not include Anthem Part 2 Live in Chicago because I don't want to include any live tracks, especially from songs that are featured on other albums. So I just want to feature the entire original set of songs that we have on this album. So there's going to be 13 tracks that we rank here. So let's get underway because these videos normally take a while. So starting off with my number 13. So coming in at my number 13 is the closing track, I'm Lost Without You. Now, I've always said the closing track needs to be the most epic track. Throw it at the end so when people finish the album, they remember it as a high point, a really good effort. And yes, this is the most epic and ambitious song on the album, I'd say. It is one of Blink's longest songs to date. I believe it runs for 6.5 minutes. But that's sort of also where I have problems with it, because this song does sort of drag on, and I feel like its length sort of hurts it, because at a point it gets very repetitive, and it has a lot of false endings where you feel like, oh, that's the end of the song, and then it just keeps going, and then it does it again. I believe it has like 2 or 3 in there where it just feels like the song's going to end, but it keeps going. And I give them respect for trying something ambitious and really throwing all at a song, but for me, I just feel like, as I said, this one gets a little bit repetitive. And not to say I don't like this song, there's some times where I can sit through it from start to finish and really enjoy it, but at the end of the day, with a lot of songs that are really good on this album, one's got to come in last, and that is I'm Lost Without You. Coming in at my number 12 is a song I was so sure was going to be last on this list, because this was a song I genuinely hated for the longest time, and that is the track All of This. As I said, for the longest time, this was a song I fucking hated. And the reason why I hated it was because I remember originally hearing the vocals and going, who the fuck is that? Because it's not Tom, it's not Mark, I'm pretty sure it's not fucking Travis, and it turns out it's the Cure's vocalist, Robert Smith, and not to diss him or anything, but when I was younger, it's completely like, I want to listen to Mark and Tom, I don't want to listen to this guy singing, but especially this time around, I found a new respect for it, even though it's obviously my number 12, so it's not my favourite song, but found a new respect for it. Again, sort of like I'm Lost Without You, it's a song that sort of does drag on and gets a little bit long, and it's one that I feel like would benefit from being cut down a little bit. But, the things that I respect this time around, I definitely do enjoy Robert Smith's vocals a little bit more. I love how Tom joins in with the choruses. There's stuff that I definitely do like a lot more on this song this time around, so coming in at my number 12 is All of This. Coming in at number 11 is the song Violence. Now, Violence, my favourite thing that this song has going for it is honestly its instrumentals. The instrumentals, especially the opening, reminds me of Violence. Honestly, it sort of reminds me of, it's going to sound weird, but it reminds me of Barbed Wire, which I think fits perfectly with the title being Violence. But where it sort of drops off for me is the verses. The verses are very experimental. And as I said in my random album review, I respect this album for trying stuff and being experimental, but this time round doesn't quite hit for me. The verses I just do not really enjoy. But where it does pick up again is the choruses. The choruses are actually some of the best for the album. It's Tom. He is showing so much emotion and putting so much effort into it, and I love it for that. It's just, unfortunately, the verses is where it dies off for me. Also, I do not like the intro to Stockholm Syndrome that is thrown in at the end. I know it's very nitpicky, and I know it probably makes sense to put an intro of a song at the back of a song, because, you don't want to have it at the start and skip a whole track. But yeah, no, this one is sort of one that doesn't quite hit for me, so coming in at my number 11 is Violence. Now, coming in for my number 10 is the track Obvious. Now, for this one, I feel like it's a very similar song to Violence, setup-wise and sound-wise. Again, has instrumentals that are very primal and raw and experimental, and again, it really works. But where this one has the edge over Violence is the verses are actually stronger on this one. And with that also, good choruses, with that also, lyrically. The lyrics are very... I just love the way the song's written, the story it's telling, lots of emotion, so that's where it has the edge over Violence. Otherwise, as I said, there are a lot of good songs on this album, so this was a hard ranking. So even though I do really like this song, it's got to fall somewhere towards the back, so my number 10 is Obvious. Stockholm Syndrome comes in at my number 9. Now, what I really like about this song is one of my favourite things that I like about Blink-182. When they feature back and forth vocals in their songs between Mark and Tom, that's some of my favourite stuff, and this song really does it well. And not only that, I really, again, like the lyrics. It's just a very simple song, but so much enjoyment in it, and originally, I'd say... even about a week ago before filming this video and cementing my order that I was going to have, this was a song that was further back, but the more and more I listened to it, the more it just grew on me, and it kept shooting up spots, and as I keep saying, this was such a hard tracklist ranking to do because so many of the songs are so strong, but it's got to fall somewhere, so my number 9 is Stockholm Syndrome. Asthenia falls in at my number 8. Again, this song, sort of like Stockholm Syndrome, very short and sharp, but very addictive, and has more experimental tones than what Stockholm Syndrome had. I don't mean to compare songs within this tracklist ranking, but a sort of similar setup to Stockholm Syndrome, more so just featuring Tom as the vocalist though. And again, just one that sort of stuck with me. Again, as well, was falling more so towards the back when this list was originally there, but just kept shooting up and shooting up. But again, I feel like this one delivers a lot of energy, but more so in a mellow sort of tone, which I really found interesting. The lyrics, again, there's a lot of emotion and deliver. That's where it has the edge for me over the others that feature lower on this list, but can't recommend the song enough. And let's move on to my number 7. Now, this is a song that might surprise a lot of people to have at my number 7, but it is the song Down. And what I mean by it might surprise a lot of people, because this is one of the more so popular songs on the album. And I definitely, again, really do like this song. But it has more so a blander quality compared to a lot of the more popular and well-known songs for the album. That's not me saying I hate the song at all, because I definitely really do like Down, and sort of the reverse of the other ones that we featured on this list. This was one that was originally very high, but it had to move spots compared to some of the other ones, because, as I said, it has this a little bit more of a blander quality to it. But you also got to remember that this is, for one of the more popular songs on the album, one of the more experimental songs as well, so credit to that as well. But I still really do love Down, and I know that it has a lot of fans, so it really did hurt to put it in at sort of a middle card spot. But my number 7 is the track Down. Coming in at my number 6 is the short, sharp track Go. Now, not only is this the first song on my list to completely feature Mark as a vocalist, it's also the first song on the album to completely feature him as a vocalist. I spoke about that in my random album review. It's a shame that, there's only 2 tracks on this album that completely have him leading a song, and it's also a shame that they're pushed towards the back. But all that aside, Go is such a heavy hitter. What it lacks in runtime, it picks up in energy and lyrically. This is a song where if you listen to the lyrics, it does not suit the instrumentals that we're hearing, because the instrumentals are so fast-paced and have this energy and this lightheartedness to it. But if you're aware of what the song's about and you listen to the lyrics carefully, it's sort of a mismatch and sort of makes it sound more upbeat than what it actually is. And that's another thing that I really like about it. Mark delivers the emotion, and there's so much rawness in the way that he tells the story and he sings the song, especially in the part where the instrumental's cut out and he just repeats, I don't want to know, I don't want to know. It's so much fucking heart in that song, and as I said, just such a short, sharp one, but it was one that will stick with you. As I said, it's a shame that it falls a little bit towards the back, but still such a song that I would recommend. So coming in at my number 6 is Go. Back-to-back songs on my list here where Mark completely leads the vocals, as well as the second of only 2 songs where he does that on the album. We have Here's Your Letter. Again, just such a song that delivers a lot more than what people sort of would give it appreciation for just on a face-to-face level. Lyrics, it delivers again. The whole song has this melancholic instrumentals to it, which suits it perfectly, because again, it's a song where if you listen to the vocals, it's delivering a lot more than what it has on the top. It delivers less than what Go does. Go tells a lot more of a emotional and, engaging story. But this song, I just feel like it hits me more. Again, Mark delivers with the emotion, and I sort of said in my random album review for this album, as much as I like Tom, I've always felt like Mark is so underrated, and this song is the perfect example why. I really love Here's Your Letter. It's a shame, again, that it's another song that falls towards the back of the album, but such a heavy hitter, and this is one, again, that shot right up my list. So coming in at my number 5 is Here's Your Letter. Coming in at number 4, and again, another heavy hitter that has so much fan respect, and this is the song Always. I'm not going to lie, this was a song, again, sort of like Down, that I thought was going to be a heavy hitter to fall in a mid-card position. But this song has so much staying power, and the way I would describe this song is the deepest, simple song ever, because this song is so simple, but so deep at the same time. It lyrically, it delivers, and that's probably its strongest quality. Instrumentally, it's not doing anything groundbreaking besides that intro by Travis, with, I presume, is the Sticks. It's fucking unreal. But this is such a fucking powerful song, and as I said, that's probably why I couldn't push it down to a mid-card spot on this ranking. It just kept staying at the forefront of my mind, and it is such a heavy hitter, and I understand why it's a fan favourite. It's always been a favourite of mine, so coming in at number 4 is the track Always. Into my top 3 now, and for my number 3 we have Easy Target, which is easily the most criminally underrated song in the whole of Blink-182's catalogue. Not just for this album, just songs in general. So underrated. This song from start to finish is a shot of adrenaline and is so badass. The verses are fucking awesome. Then it gets outdone by the chorus, and then even the bridge is fucking awesome. This song is just so fucking amazing, and I can't believe that, this song just doesn't get the respect from Blink fans that I feel like it deserves. It is the most underrated song that I can think of from Blink, and honestly, it's so fucking awesome. As I said, badass from start to finish. Every part of the song just outdoes each other. Even the instrumentals, obviously, I love the instrumentals because I have that as my intros for my music videos here on my channel. So that goes to show how much I fucking love this song. I still remember the first time hearing this song. Obviously it's not one of Blink's most popular, but I remember just coming across it and going, how the fuck does no one talk about this song way more than what they should be? Because it is such a heavy hitter. And honestly, I'm like, how is this only number 3? But as I said, this album has so many fucking good tracks. So let's get into my final 2 now. Coming in for my number 2 is I Miss You, and again, such a unique song. The best way to describe this song is pretty much how I would describe the music video if you've seen the music video for this song. It's very gloomy, moody, gothic, haunting, and that's what just makes the song so unique, and it is so, so awesome. If you look at Blink's earlier discography and their earlier catalogue, there is no song like this. This song is so unique and experimental, but obviously it paid off, and this is a song that obviously stuck with fans. Even if you're not a fan of Blink-182, I just feel like majority of people would have heard this song, and there's a good reason for it. It's so popular with fans, it's so popular with the general public. It was Blink trying something different, each member doing something unique to what they're used to doing, and it just pays off. And this song is just so amazing, and I'm almost at loss for words for it because this song is just spectacular from start to finish. But let's wrap it up with my number 1 for the album. And coming in at my number 1, it's no surprise if you know me personally, it's the opening track of the album, Feeling This. As I said, the opening track, and starts it off with such a fucking vibe. This song is just, reminds me of summer, just reminds me of good times. And off the top of my head, I can't think of a better opening track for an album other than this one. This could be my favourite Blink-182 song of all time, not just for this album. It is such a good song. As I said, one of my favourite things that Blink-182 do is where they do the back and forth vocals between Mark and Tom. This song is the perfect prime example, and it fucking delivers. Another example as well, where each part of the song outdoes the last. The verses are awesome, then the choruses, and then the fucking bridge, and just everything about this song is fucking amazing. As I said, if you know me personally, you know how much I love this song. It was such a awesome way to kickstart this album. Perfect. Now, I'm not sure if this is completely true. It could just be a rumor. I could be bullshitting right now, but I swear I think I've heard this somewhere. When writing this song, Mark went off and wrote, a song that he didn't know was going to be this. Tom did the same. And then after some time, they came together and they Frankensteined pretty much this song together. Just put bits and pieces together. And obviously, I said in my random album review for this, it sucks that, one of my favourite bands weren't seeing eye to eye, and this probably eventually led to, their hiatus / breakup, and, it really sucks that, they weren't on the same page and writing together. But fuck, if they did not Frankenstein one of the fucking best songs ever. I mean, shit, this song is fucking awesome. And as I said, there could be a bit of rumour to that story, but that's what I've heard. And it was just a little fun fact I wanted to chuck there in the end. But this is such a good song, and that's why it takes out my number one for Blink-182's self-titled album from 2003. So guys, I just wanted to thank you again for joining me for this tracklist ranking. You know, these videos can take a long time, not just to record, but to sit through and to edit. And I just want to appreciate you guys if you have stuck around right here to the end. This was such a fun tracklist ranking to do. It was super hard because, as I said, so many of the songs are heavy hitters or are underrated or underappreciated, and I want to give them the respect that they deserve. So this was a really hard list to put together, but as I said, fun nevertheless. So I'm super happy that we are through it now, but feel free to let me know your favourite tracks in the comments below. As I said, I've got my random album review out at the same time. I'll put that in the description, so check that out if you want to know my thoughts on the album as a whole and what I rated out of 10. Hint, hint, it's pretty fucking high, so I would definitely recommend this album. And thank you for joining me again, guys, and I'll see you guys again soon for some new content. Peace.